SP. As always, I'm your host, Josh. And like usual, this episode is brought to you by Great Lakes Discs. Whether you're looking for cool new gear or your new favorite disc, hit up Great Lake Discs. They'll hook you up. I made it super easy. Just hit the link in the link tree and start your shopping right there. Without further ado, I'll let my guest introduce himself, where he's from, and how he even got into disc golf.
Hey, my name is Zac O Heran. I am a very badly rated AM1 player out of West Michigan area. I got into disc golf back in 2011, introduced by a youth minister that I was going to church to at the time, and he was much, much, much better than I was. And I dabbled around for a little bit. And after he left, I took a big hiatus from disc golf actually until 2017 ish. Um, and I didn't play at all. I had a couple friends that were bored one day and were like, "Hey, you got something to do?" I said, "I have some discs. We can go out a disc golf course." Took them all out, and they were hooked. And so, of course, that hooked me because they liked it too, and jumped back into the sport. And I just loved it, playing it, just being in it. And then eventually, I found a niche within the sport I thought was missing, which was exposure to local courses. I didn't think that there was enough video coverage of those layouts. I was specifically trying to play a course in Grand Rapids called Earl Brewer Park, where the River City Open is held. And I couldn't find a video. And I was scrolling through YouTube, and I eventually found this channel called Mitten Chumps. And I'm going to give a backhanded compliment where they made content at the course. It was not very helpful though. And I couldn't really understand what the course was, where the holes went. And as much as I, commend those guys going out there making content, they reviewed the course, their opinions on it. I just wanted something more detailed. I didn't have a drone, so I went out with some friends and we had an iPad and an iPhone, and we'd walk around with a little iographer holder and walk down every fairway with this really shaky footage, but you could see the hole overviews. And then we chucked the discs and played the holes, and we made some really bad content in terms of our quality of play, but we were able to kind of showcase those holes. And within a year, we had talked about, well, maybe we want to be like Jomez, where maybe we want to go out in there and film tournaments one day. And we put together this 5-year plan. We're like, yeah, in 2 years, we're going to do AM3s, and then we'll do AM1, and then we'll do FPO, and then we'll do MPO. And we're just going to see how this goes. And within a month, we get a call from a guy named Chris Davis who says, "Hey, we need you to film an A tier." And I've never done that before. I said, "We'll ask the tournament director." He said, if everything went smoothly round one, we could come back for round two. Totally fair deal. The whole tournament went really, really well. It couldn't have gone any better for us. It was a great experience. We took a big breath and said, "Great, we'll come back in a year to see if we want to do this again." And 3 weeks later, I got a message from Andrew Marweed, and he said, "Hey, you're coming to the same event, but for the pros, right?" And I said, "Oh man, like I'm honored you'd ask that. I don't know if we're capable of really filming pros." And Marweed responded back with, "So you're coming to this tournament to film, right?" Like, you wouldn't let it go. So we came out, filmed the same tournament. I think it was called the Kalamazoo Open at the time, and filmed him, Tim Barham, Reed Ferskura back in 2019-ish, 2018, film their absolute battle at Bluegill. And I mean, since then, we've been cooking. We've been called out to more events. It's been kind of the niche I've been involved in and filming the sport in West Michigan. Crew 42 is the channel we established. It's been really good to film in the Midwest. We've expanded out of Michigan. So now we're filming in Missouri for the St. Louis Open. We filmed last year in West Virginia for the Seth Burton Memorial. We had the most popular, I'm going to say this with an asterisk because I don't know this for sure, I think we had the most popular video clip for disc golf last year. We had a roller ace that we filmed at the Seth Burton Memorial that had 3 million views on Facebook, over 1.2 million, I think, now on Instagram. So, I mean, it's been a joy just being part of that disc golf community where I play all the time, but just being able to go out there and film pros and document just the adventure that people are on. I love it. I love the sport. I love just hanging out with people doing that. And so that's kind of how I got into it and where I'm at right now, just filming and loving every second of it.
That's really cool. So when you guys go out, are you guys like, do you guys like have like actual cameras where you guys shoot the video onto like a memory stick and then you edit it, or do you guys just use your phones with tripods?
So we started with phones and an iPhone and an iPad. That was what we did. In fact, we showed up to a tournament once and we were out there shooting B-roll by a tree or something. And I got a message from someone saying, "Are you guys here?" And I'm like, "I'm the one out in the field." And he was very, very worried because he's like, "This is not what I thought it was going to be. These guys look a little sketchy. It's an iPad and an iPhone." And we filmed the event and he was very impressed. He's like, "I never would have guessed that it was an iPad and iPhone. You guys did really well for what it was." Since then, the operation has expanded considerably. We've been able to afford major upgrades. I call us the Jomez of the Midwest, where we're not as good as Jomez. We're not going to pretend that we are, but we certainly do I think, a fantastic job in terms of just getting coverage. We have really clean graphics. The catch cam operator that part owner of the channel as well, in my opinion, is a top 5 catch cam guy in the world. So, I mean, we really have some experienced players and experienced camera operators with what we do. And yeah, it's evolved and we look to continue evolving as long as the sports keeps being good to us.
That's really cool. So, like your catch cam guy, how long did it take him to get the finding the disc in the air and following it down
Ooh,
pretty good?
he's brilliant. Donut is what we'll call him because that's what everyone knows him at, is the um in the disc golf world. Funny enough, so when the channel started, I do filming, I do editing, I do everything, commentary through the whole process. He's just a camera operator to start, and every single person knew him, but not me. So we'd go out somewhere and like we're standing next to each other. In fact, our first kind of like, we're not celebrities, but someone recognized us in public. I'm standing right next to Donut and someone comes running through the woods like, "Oh my God, are you Crew 42?" And I had a big old smile on my face. I'm like, "Yeah, we are." He's like, "You're Donut." And he's pointing at Donut. And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now I know what it is. Let's get humbled." Great, great, great. That's okay. Got it. Yeah, he's fantastic. He is a really good learner. He's really competent. It's kind of funny. Our story is that you have a bad AM3 teacher and an anvil salesman. That's what we are. And we created a disc golf coverage channel where the anvil salesman is nuts, where he's just like amazing at what he does. He tracks the discs just really well. And part of the reason he's grown as much as he has is our work with DGN. We've been very fortunate to work with them. He's worked with them a lot more than I have in the last couple of years. And he's just taken the experience of that and really exploded his skills. And so I think that's part of the reason the channel is so special, is just his ability to track a disc, as you mentioned, and really just get the angles that people like when it comes to coverage.
Yeah, it sounds like Donut. It's kind of like Spicy Boy, like because Spicy Boy says every time they're out and about, like in Arizona, like everyone's like, "Hey, it's Spicy Boy,"
Yeah.
and he always tells Terry Miller, "Hey, guess what? I got recognized again." Yeah, and I guess Spicy Boy does really good catch cam footage as well, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. It blows my mind how guys are able to do that, because I've tried doing it for myself,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I know like the throw because I did the throw, and even on when I'm editing, I'm like, I don't know where the disc went, it's just gone.
Yeah, so like Donut does a lot of things that I don't normally do when I do catch. So when I film catch, he turns on, so if you're in the camera world, he turns on peaking so he can track it in the sky, something I never thought about doing, but it works for him. He really is just good at being able to identify getting into the spots, and a lot of it is experience. He and I have only ever been hit by disc once. Both of those were bad ground actions that we're trying to get ready for, and you just can't. It's kind of a 50-50 risk, and we both lost. But he's dude does such a good job of filming in a space, and I think I do this pretty well too, where you get in the space, it's not perfect. We both think about what that space looked like, what we want to do to adjust it, and then do that. And a lot of people who we know in the disc golf filming world, that's a slow process. And I think he and I have done a nice job of taking criticisms from people and adjusting appropriately. And I think that's helped him grow as well as he has in the channel as well.
That's pretty cool. So, for your personal like disc golf game, do you find yourself competing more on like the tournament and league side, or playing more just casual rounds with your buddies?
It kind of depends on the summer. I've had some summers where I'm all about competition. I prefer a little competition. I think that's fun for me. Um, I do both a lot, but I would lean towards competition. Just playing C tiers, B tiers, kind of getting with I love filming with, or not filming, excuse me, playing with new people. I love that part of disc golf. Just going out to a random town I've never been to before, three new people I've never met before, and just chatting up and hearing their stories, sharing mine. I love that part. So I love doing that, because if you go travel somewhere you've never been to with your friends, you don't necessarily meet new people. So I think I would lean towards that competition side, because you're forced to kind of get together. And sometimes you don't always love the people you meet, but I think I've loved 99% of the people I have. So I really like that aspect.
Yeah, that's what I like about it too. Like going to tournaments outside of my area because you just meet really cool people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your top five tournaments of last season? And it could be either because of a high rating or you just loved the course.
Man. My top five tournaments. I'm gonna include filming, because I do that. I kind of get biased a little bit. So
Yes.
as a player specifically, I will say that playing Johnson Park Championship, or Johnson Park at any time, is my favorite. I don't know why I'm remotely good at that course, but I can shoot 1,000 rated at the course and then go over to Garfield in our West Michigan area, and they're both, I think, relatively similar in difficulty level. But I'll shoot 880 at Garfield and I'll shoot 1,000 at Johnson. So Johnson's always is going to be on my list. I don't care if you don't like the hills. I don't mind it. I've shot more thousand rated rounds there than anywhere else. So that's on my top of the list every year. Um, I also like a course in Indiana, in Mishawaka. There's like a hill toboggan course down there. Big fan of that. But filming, oh man, really loved Orange Crush last year in West Virginia. That course is insane. There are a total of 18 flat spots on that course in the Appalachian Mountains, and all 18 spots are the tee pads. Everywhere else, you are either on a slant 45 doing this, or your feet are down or up. It's amazing. Your feet hurt by the end of the day, but it's an amazing experience. I always will have a special place for Earl Brew Park River City Open. That's our first like big contract that we came back to a lot of times. And I think Shay and his team out there have done an amazing job of looking at courses and adjusting it, not making wild swings, but just tweaking things in here and there to make it competitive. And I love what they do out there. And then, Toboggan in Michigan, that's where I'm from.
Mhm.
So that course, oh, I mean, I have some of my fondest memories and some of my worst nightmares filming DGN there one year, where we did 4 rounds. So FPO and MPO. So you did the course 8 times in those 4 days
Wow.
filming, and that'll hurt your feet. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But that'd be my five. I'll give you those as my five.
Nice. Have you ever played any courses over on this side of the lake in Buffalo area?
No, I haven't gotten that far north. I've gotten a
Okay.
little into Ohio. I've gotten into Ohio. I haven't gotten really far north of Ohio. I haven't had a chance to travel as a player yet. If I get some free time this summer, which might happen, I would love to travel out to like that northeastern area and just take a couple weeks and just go chuck some discs and just see what it looks like out there.
Yeah. With World Amps being here, is there possible chance of dabbling in this area, stopping through, or
I doubt. Well, I not as a player, because I think I'm classified as a pro still. I mean, I have to be. I don't know what that means in terms of qualifications for the amateur event. It's funny because like I'm a pro, and so you need to protect the sport from me. But I'm rated 935. I think the sport's fine if I showed up to the AM event, but
yeah,
that's just me. That's just me. I will give the AMs my money, but that's another topic, another day. Um, if I get a chance out there, I have filmed some events like that. If I got an opportunity to film that event, 100% I would take it in an instant. I would love to go out there and check out those courses. Love doing that kind of stuff. So if I get a chance this year, I will, but it's not right now in the plans.
yeah. Um, So with you being 935 rated, I imagine you spend a lot of time like get practice in and stuff. So where do you find your practice time um being used spent like best spent? Is it
Uh-huh.
either on the putting green, field work, or lots of practice rounds?
I'm gonna say practice rounds for my throwing. I don't like going into a field and chucking discs. I just don't have a routine where it feels like it's productive. Putting is what I'll do all the time. That's my best asset of the game. Um, Claim to fame. People can doubt me. Look, we can leave a comment, tell me I'm a liar, go for it. But technically, I was a reigning Michigan State putting champion where I beat Andrew Marweed in a playoff. That
Ooh,
happened. So
oh boy.
if you need someone to verify, you can ask Jared Stoll. He was there. Um, so putting is my jam. That's the thing I'm really good at. I can't throw over 330. I've had some injuries as well as just a big old noodly arm. So I really need the courses to be short. But if they're long, I'm kind of the guy that has to take 4 throws to get on the par 5 to get to the green. But then I can make the 35 footer to save the par. So that's what I practice the most. I go to courses and just chuck around, and that's good practice for me. Or I am at school in my front yard. I have a 3-year-old son who likes to huck disc too, so we'll just stay in the yard and I'll putt from anywhere from 20 to 60 feet and just have a jam with him. And that's my practice, which I enjoy a lot.
Now, are you a spin putter or are you kind of a push?
I'm a mix. So
Okay.
I've been talking to some friends actually about this, where there's no such, in my opinion, there's no good putting tutorial video. Like Gannonberg gave a
Exactly.
Gannonberg gave a good decent one where he's like, I'm gonna putt from 20 feet, but throw it like 80 and dead center regardless of distance. And he kind of gave some basic mechanics. And in our sport, we don't really have basic mechanics. We don't have anything like that, like in basketball, where you can look at all the pros and in a basic sense, they all have the same basic mechanic. And we don't have anything like that. So I've been talking to a couple of pros actually in my area. We've been talking about doing a project where we break down the fundamental needs in your form, what parts are required, what parts are personal, like what can you get away with, and just like maybe making a video where we're just going to go down and say, hey, if you're new trying to get better, this is what you should do with your putt. And like, this is how you're going to get better at putting immediately. This is how you're going to have a sustainable putt long term. And I'd love to do a project like that because I don't think our sport has done enough in that. Most of the videos that I see with putting is like, you need to be confident. It's like, well, what if I'm not? It's like, you just got to build it by practicing. It's like, what does practicing mean? What am I practicing? How am I practicing it? And doing a project like that, I think would be good for the sport. Probably better if it came from someone that wasn't me, but I'll get the ball rolling and maybe that'll inspire some other pros to go, oh, this does make sense. And, actually reach the masses.
Yeah, because it kind of goes along the lines of like there's no perfect throwing form because everybody's different. So I mean, everyone has their own form. Like even if you look at all the pros, none of them throw exactly the same, but they have
Yep.
somewhat of a fundamental that's kind of similar, and that's about it.
Yeah, I like with backhands right now, the big conversation has been power pocket. How to get into the power pocket where your arm reach is supposed to be. It needs to be farther out, not closer to your chest, because then you get into rounding. And so like those are fundamental just physics that people need to try to do. Now there's ways to tweak it to fit your physical limitations, needs, whatever, but there's that fundamental kind of core. And same thing with forehand. Like Scott Stokely talks about, you don't want to serve it on a pizza, really kind of throwing it right
Wow, throw it
through.
like a baseball.
Right. And so like those tutorials and those videos are starting to become more and more kind of public. Oh, the form, it's not a pizza, it's baseball, like as you said. And so more and more people are kind of hearing that. And I want that for the putting. I want to know how
Yeah,
I can even get better at putting, even though I think I'm pretty decent. I would love to get better at putting.
yeah, I would love to know how to make like 20 footers like it was easy because anything beyond 15 feet, I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is 50-50. I hope it
Yeah.
gets there.
Yes. Maybe Frank Smith and I can make a video and we can help you out. We'll see.
Hey, there we go. That would be really cool. So what tournaments are you looking forward to this upcoming season to either be filming or playing in?
Johnson Park Championship as a player. I'm always going to go to that if I can. As I'm actually really excited to come back as a TD. I've been running an event at Robert Morris Park in Kalamazoo. This last year I couldn't run it because of the St. Louis Open. There was a conflict in date, so I actually was in Missouri filming, and Shay took over for me as TD and TD'd that event for me. So huge shout out to Shay for that. But I'm really excited to come back and run that event at Robert Morris and another one at Door, Michigan. I call it Kick in the Door because I'm not funny. And it's such a cool event. We had last year, we had a bunch of AM3 sign up last second. They all had carts. We made a big old kind of video about it. And a lot of people just had fun, added some artificial like OBs here and there that weren't unfair. And I think a lot of people enjoyed it. And those are just like C tiers that are, you can come in and not know the most, and people are going to be just chill. Like, we're just here to enjoy disc golf and teach each other and enjoy the rating. And like, that's fun. And like, I'm really excited to do that. Filming wise, River City Open coming back. Love to do that every year. St. Louis has been secured as well for Crew 42. So I'm always excited to get out to Missouri. We've had fantastic finishes the last 2 years with Aiden Scott coming out on top both years. And States, Michigan States is kind of the kind of our what we hang our hat on. It's like we want to document that every year if we can. And Shay ran a great event in Hammond last year. We're expecting another amazing event again this year. We'd love to get involved again, continue getting just kind of documenting Michigan's history. And we have some crazy videos with Kyle Klein before he's on tour battling Nate Wegrin and a couple other disc golfers. We see Marweed win his first state championship. Tim Barham wins one on over at Wicks and the kind of the more north and eastern side of the state. So like we love going out there and kind of documenting that because you never know. Luke Taylor has been showing up the last couple ones, and took him and Kyle Klein were battling back and forth, and Marweed ended up sneaking it. Like all that stuff is amazing, and just kind of seeing those big players come back, and also seeing those kind of up and comers like Luke Taylor being on coverage. He was, in years past, and now we're seeing him on Discraft Elite, and we get to watch him on live coverage in Jomez, and I'm really excited for that too. I think he's well deserved. He's really young too, so like the sky's the limit for him right now. But just love doing that.
Who's your top 5 MPO and FPO players on tour right now?
Best or like my personal favorite?
Your personal favorite.
Oh man, this is not going to be biased at all. Andrew Marweed, Kyle Klein, Luke Taylor. Let's just throw those ones out there. I really like Calvin Heimberg. I know a lot of people think he's kind of weird, but I like that. My favorite the first pro I ever really liked watching is Nate Sexton, and he was the voice of disc golf for a long time. So I'll give kudos out to him. I might be missing someone right now, and I apologize if I am, but that's just off the top of my head, those 5 right there for MPO. For FPO, Vanessa Van Dyken, she's awesome. I love to see her when she pops up on coverage from time to time. When we see her on our channel as well, that's always fun. Kat Murch, big shout out to her. She did commentary for Crew 42 this last year for the CCR Open, and that's probably the most fun commentary I've ever been a part of. That was super fun. Owen Scoggins, she's really fun to film as well. Yeah, man. I'm gonna get the name wrong. Oh, I have 3 names now mixed in my head. Now I hate myself. She just won Player of the Year last year. Holland Hanley. There we go. Holy smokes. I'm sorry, Holland. We filmed her with Andrew Presnell before he won his major out in Ohio for an event. And we did a Holland and Andrew versus me and Donut as doubles. So them singles, us doubles. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, we just get spanked. But we saw her when she was still with Dynamic. And I mean, she threw on hole 2. It's a forehand shot, 350, something like that. And she let go of that disc. And me and Donut looked at each other. We're like, well, we have a world champ in our hands here. Like, you immediately knew she was going to be really good. And it's been so fun to watch her kind of ascension into that. That's been really fun. So like, yeah, those are some FPO players I really like to watch, but they've also have some connections to the channel too. And I love that for that too.
Yeah. So, for what you're throwing this year. Obviously, I see the Discraft Underground right there. So I'd imagine it's just Discraft. I'm just kind of going out on a limb here, but ooh,
This. Uh, yeah. I do throw from time to time some DGA breakers, depending on. I've thrown bonsais before because I had a bonsai that was just perfect for the bag. Most of it's Discraft right now. My putters are back are back to steady BLs, Marweed stone splatters, because I broke my arm in September, late September this last year,
ooh,
and I haven't quite gotten the strength back right. So the Lunas I normally putt with, highs are out too early, and so the stone steadies stay a little straighter for me as I kind of recover into that. And I might stick with them for the year, just kind of play it by ear right now. But those I bag pretty regularly. Um, but for Discraft itself, I'm bagging Lunas all the time. The RW-0325-P, which I forget what they call it now. They just announced the name on the PDGA. It's Ricky's first proto. And he, even though they didn't like continue on, because I think he's putting with focuses right now, they're going to keep it on and make it a stock disc, I believe. Um, it's my favorite disc in the bag right now. It just is. Right along with the Kratos. I'm a big putter thrower. Love that. Buzzes, Buzz SS, Buzz OS, which I think might be the most unique, like correct way to make a mid range, which is the same mid range but more of a stable, less stable, and straight. And then you don't have to change how you throw. You just throw the one you need to go left, the other one that you want to go right, and the one that you want to go straight. So I
perfect.
I don't know of many other brands that have discs that are named like that, where it's like it's the same disc but deviated. So love my buzzes. I don't have a lot of drivers. Big old noodly arm. My hands are the size of small children, so I can't grip.
Mine too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm 6 foot tall, but my hands are the size proportional to a guy who's like 5'4". So I hate it. But so I don't throw a lot of drivers. I think the fastest disc I consistently pull out is a vulture. And so my distance is capped at 330, 350 if it's a good tailwind downhill, perfect and perfect throw. But yeah, it's a lot of putters, a lot of mid range. If you're playing me on a course that's sub 300, I've got a chance. That's what matters.
The important thing is you know your game.
Yeah, I mean, if it's over 300, then I'm filming. So, I get to participate. Just depends on the
Yeah.
distance.
For any like new player out there, do you suggest going like open bag or just focus on a manufacturer so they're not overran by like all the different molds and different discs out there?
I mean, I'm always going to recommend Discraft because I think they make just an incredible lineup to begin with. For beginners, you have the Page Pierce Fierce. So, like, you already have an understable kind of putter that's really good for beginners. You have the Soul, the Meteor, which are mid ranges that beginners can take out and throw immediately. If you have a person with more, kind of a stronger arm off the rip, you can give them the Buzz, more stable disc. So, I don't mind telling them to stick with just one manufacturer if it's Discraft, and just kind of exploring the shot shapes you want to have, what's good for your game, and exploring that, and just making sure you have a complete lineup in that. I do love disc golf a lot, so when other companies do come out with new discs, I do sometimes will go out and try them, and then I always compare it to my Discraft bag. So I'm just like, yeah, this is a great putter. It does this. I'll throw it once and be like, no, I like my Kratos better, and just or whatever. It's like, yeah, I get why you like it. It's close to what I have, but I have it, so I don't want it. So, but I just love exploring the sport too. So I'm very fortunate to be with a company that I genuinely do believe that they have an amazing product, a complete lineup, and I get to enjoy the whole collection. So, yeah, if you're new to the sport and want to know what to throw, hit me up because I can get you connected. I got the stuff.
He's got the goods, little
I
trench coat with it. Hey, I got the goods right here.
I wasn't gonna go that far, but I do have the goods. So we're just gonna move on past that one.
Yeah. Anyways, so working with Disc Golf Network, what
Yeah.
was that like, and like, is there any plans in the future to continue growing with them?
It's so we don't really work with them in capacity of Crew 42. really what we came down to was this was, oh, I can't even tell you the year now. It's got to be 3 years, 2022, 2023, somewhere in there, where they had just filmed in Europe. And in the process of transitioning from Europe, the next event was Deglow, and equipment wasn't coming over efficiently, and people weren't coming over efficiently, and they got really kind of stuck, it felt like. And so they called private contractors, which they do every year, all the time, or they have in the past, and bringing them in, especially if they're local, to film. And Crew 42 is just kind of in that little pocket where we're good enough where you watch us, you're like, oh, that's really good. But we're small enough to where you've never heard of us still. And so they had never heard of us. They were filming in Michigan. Phil Delaney, who's now working for the PDGA, was with DGN at the time. And told the guys, like, hey, like, I know these guys. They work in Michigan. They have this small little channel. They do post production. Like, they might be worth giving a call. You need 2 more camera operators. And they called us up and they're like, would you be interested in filming at Deglow? And I was like, you're not going to stop me from filming Deglow. I'm going to be there. And we were very fortunate to get kind of our foot in the door. I to this day, I'll never forget walking onto the T-pad for MPO. So we had filmed FPO in the morning. I filmed Katrina Allen and someone else on hot card. So it's a camera that runs around the course. It doesn't follow a card. Just like, this person's hot, go film them. And then when you get there, they all of a sudden will miss a putt because you're there, and they're like, go back 6 holes that you just came from, and you have to run across the course. And because we know the course, we filmed there before, that was a perfect role for us to get our foot in the door. And so Donut was doing a lot of camera work. I was helping with support. They was like, hey, for the MPO, let's give you guys a shot. They gave us on chase card, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I had Simon Lizotte, Nate Sexton on the first card. I was just like, oh my God, dream come true for me. And that was it. We filmed. Contractors are not always reliable in terms of like giving the best coverage. You can kind of tell if you're kind of a disc golf head when you watch coverage and you're like, oh yeah, that's Bobby filming because it's perfect. And then you can tell there's a contractor, and there are some amazing contractors out there. I'll work with them all day, but that solid crew, you can tell. And so we didn't know if we were going to get called back. We didn't know, we didn't have a conversation. We didn't sit down and go, how do we do? They thanked us, shook our hand, and we were on our way. And I want to say maybe within a month, I got another call and they said, hey, how far is Ledgestone? And I was like, close enough. That's my answer. And they come on out. And then we showed up. We filmed Andrew Marwee's Ace. I filmed the reactionary cam for our Andrew Marwee's Ace. Donut filmed the catch cam of Calvin Heimberg's Ace that happened immediately after. So if that Ledgestone a few years ago with those back-to-back aces, that was him and me involved in, not alone, obviously. We had an amazing staff, crew out there working. We're just a very small part of that, but we were a part of, that moment. That was amazing. We were there filming Cole Redollin's hot round through Northwood Black. I was on that crew. I was the reaction cam again, the gimbal filming Cole Redollin walking down 18, right? So we've been brought in as contractors because of my teaching schedule. I'm just not as available as Donut is. And so Donut has worked many different events with them. He's has a great connection with that, and he's built his filming repertoire off of that as well. But we've done several events: Deglow, Ledgestone, Idlewild, the Preserve. Donut's done a few more than I have. I'm not going to pretend how many more he's done than me, but that's so much fun to get that call and just be a part of the best camera operators in the world. Like, they do just function differently, and it's unfortunate. It feels like they get a lot of hate on the comment section, especially. It's like, it's glitchy. It's like, it's Northwood Black. There is no service, and I think they've done a great job of trying to continue to grow and adapt for that. But I think it goes unrecognized just how hard it is to do some of the things that they do, and the amazing skills some of those camera operators have. And just, we take that for granted sometimes, and just seeing them operate and do what they do, like, it's just amazing what they're capable of. And just I'm always going to watch DGN because of what I know happens behind the scenes and the amazing people that do what they do, for sure. But I've been a part of that. Dona has been as well. Um, Memories that'll last a lifetime for sure.
Yeah, for me personally, like I never really thought about like the amount of work that goes into just doing the camera work until I got to know Spicy Boy and talked to him about all that he did, especially for just what he did over the past weekend for the memorial. All that he
Right?
walked with, got feet blisters on his feet and everything, and I was like, wow. And then when you go out and try like filming yourself, let alone
Yeah.
like a full tournament, it's just like it's mind blowing.
And
And
like
like
some of the conditions are absolutely horrid. And like we've seen rain rounds where like the players look miserable. It's like, okay, take a player. They look miserable. They're in a rain jacket. They have an umbrella at all times. They're powdering their hand and they're trying to stay dry. Behind that person is a guy with a live view pack with a poncho over it that live view's at 10,000 degrees. So they're boiling inside of this poncho in the rain, having to keep their camera dry. Like they don't even get to play disc golf. They just have to sit there and endure hours of this, like the conditions when they're bad. And it's worth it. I'm crazy. I get it. But you know, some of the moments you capture are just perfect. And so like being a part of that is really fun, but I don't think people ever think about that. It's just like there's a guy behind that person throwing who is 10 times more uncomfortable probably.
yeah, and let's not forget about the editing team. I mean, the amount of
Yeah.
time that people sit there and do edits. Like I've tried editing my own videos. I'm like, this is annoying. I can't do this. This takes too long. So I mean, my hat goes off to those people too that will sit there on coverage and just edit nice clips and stuff.
Yeah, the production team is top notch. They really do a nice job of keeping things together. They're really focused on trying to give you a coherent story as well. And while disc golf isn't as big as I want it to be, I can tell that like if we just had infinite money tomorrow and we could expand the operation, right? I think that we are headed in that direction where we're going to have the product people want. But right now we're limited with finances, with like if we just add 8 more cameras does not mean we're going to have 8 good camera operators to just do that. So as we continue to grow, I think that it will get better. And so like I love it. I love what we have right now. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in the future. And if the sport can get back into its growing ways in a healthy way, not that COVID boom stuff, but really just getting good natural growth in the sport, I'm excited to see what we can accomplish on the media side of it.
Yeah. Now, talk about growth. This was a conversation that we had before the show, but like, so what would be the best way to grow the sport in your mind?
I think it starts earlier than where we are right now. It feels like our focus or where we've seen a lot of focus is in the college level, and we're really excited about it, and we're happy to see people sign on. Ryan Mulder just signed to Liberty. Good for him. Really good for Liberty. Let's be. But I think it needs to happen earlier. I've ran a disc golf club before at the high school level, and there's just not a lot of other kids that know how to play or have courses on campuses. And I really think that if we got some of the biggest states, Texas, California, Michigan, some of the other big ones that kind of like that will have the biggest impact, and we started really infusing into curriculums that frisbee sports are introduced, and that those are things that kids can talk about in reference to identify. It's tell a kid about Paul Macbeth, okay, and then show him Jomez, and then have him watch. Then he can watch live coverage, and just being exposed to it and getting them younger and younger. The European countries have an advantage because they're so much smaller than us. Like north to south in Norway is much smaller than anywhere in the United States. And so I think for us, like the initial growth probably needs to start at the state level. If we can get Michigan and we really expose that and grew that in 10 years, and we started having, let's say, MHSAA official disc golf teams, that I think you would
Mhm.
start seeing pros pumping out, right? We'd see a growth in the sport. You'd see more casual fans watching the sport, right? After they get out of high school. So many of the stories, even on your podcast that I've heard, so many have been like even mine, a senior in high school, I get introduced.
Yep.
College and some friends want to go kick it in the woods and we do this. And it's like I love those stories. My story was like that. But what if I got introduced to the sport as a 6th grader? where I got an extra 5 years to play. Like, I'd be a better player. The sport would probably evolve faster as well because we'd have more people playing. You'd have parents, more involved. So I think that part of that growth really needs to stem at the younger groups. I don't want to get into the politics of elementary. uh, just I don't. But I think that introducing it to that kind of middle school age and really just exposing them to the idea of it. This is a thing you can do. This is a thing that's accessible. Like pickleball is for the average person. Well, do the same thing. Go for a walk with your family, but at Garfield Park here in West Michigan, you can walk the path and watch your son play the round of disc golf pretty much from the path. So like having more of those kind of being encouraged and pushed, I think that would be really good for the sport in the long term.
Yeah, and like a lot of like if any high school students are listening to this or at some point watch this, just realize that like you're in a sport and yeah, cool, you could get a full ride to a college, but it's a very small percent of players that actually make it. Where if you get into disc golf, you'll have that same opportunity to get a full ride, but a greater percentage of actually making that goal happen.
Yeah, I think that will increase too of high schoolers. Like, I think colleges are starting to pick up on the idea that we can offer scholarships for it. Imagine if we quintupled the number of people that are in high school playing disc golf, right? Like, you instantaneously will colleges. I have more people that are wanting to show up here. Maybe this program is more valid. I think the conversations are just easier to have when you have the numbers kind of pushing behind it, saying there's an interest here, there's competition for it. We're not just settling for the 8 people that play disc golf in our university to be on the team, but we have 50 people that we have to try out to be on the team. Like, one of those things, I go to the university and say, we want money to do travel. We want money to do jerseys, right? The other one is like, we're a club, help us. And so I think, again, pushing really future wise, like, I think that growth would help a lot. And it doesn't have to go straight to college. I mean, we've seen players like Kyle Klein did not need to go to college to figure that out. He was plenty good to go right onto the tour.
Favorite Gannon Burr. He
Yeah,
skipped
same
college
thing.
too.
Same thing, right? You're going to have those kind of special talents that can just make the leap, and that's great for them. That and you're going to have other players that are going to want to get that kind of pro exposure, but still want to get that development, especially on the mental side of it, from a college coach or from experienced players that are going to be able to give them that. And then maybe too, the formats can be, you know, uh, regulated through college as well. Right now, they do, swapping doubles for best shot kind of thing, and we don't see that at the pro. It'd be interesting if that wasn't the pro, I think, but I don't know how. I don't know if the general disc golfer would like that. I think it'd be interesting to see Gannon, Burr, Paul Macbeth, those guys on kind of their core teams of 4, and them choosing to do doubles, random swap, and just having a video and just seeing how that does. But just maybe aligning some of those formats too. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the sport continues to evolve. That's true.
Yeah. So as we look ahead to your season, what sponsors are you going into the season with?
I'm very blessed to be with people. Of course, Discraft Underground and just Discraft in general, Wes and all those people, like, huge shout out to you guys. You guys do an amazing job. Great Lakes Disc, Shay and his whole team, big fans of them. If you haven't already, you should, go down the link, click it, check their store out. They have everything you need. Then, I've been really blessed to work with some people this year. I just picked up with Salty Unicorn Disc Golf Apparel. So I'm working with them this year for the first time. Really excited to kind of showcase what they have. I talked to him a little bit last year, had an opportunity to kind of look at his stuff. He gave me an opportunity to work with him this year, and I was really excited to kind of hop on and do that. And so really excited to do that. And then I have some just kind of homegrown sponsors that I work with. Teammates Custom, Adam Papiak out of, again, farther north. I can't do direction, east of me. And he does custom dies. Do I have one on me? Oh, don't. That would have been cool if I looked prepared, but I'm not. But he does stencil dies. I have a Kratos with Kratos on it. I have Hypno water dies. He has a classic spin die. They all look amazing. K Aces, which is my local club. which is looking to really make some improvements to the local community this year, which I'm really excited to try to hop on board and be a part of that improvement this year. And then last year I worked with a company called Disc Golf Challenge, which does these like little medal challenges where you do putter only or forehand only, a backhand only. And this last year, I love making content on my personal channel for like imposter and ripped revenge challenges. But the thing I kept missing at a personal level is like, I want to go out and film some content, but I also kind of want to work on my game. And doing a forehand only challenge when I'm awful at forehands gave good content for me to miss every shot and to still work on something. And so that's been a lot of fun. I've been earning medals. There's like tiers to that you can earn medals on. That's been a lot of fun. And then I claim Crew 42 as a sponsor, although it's me. So I'm just really just telling people, look at this one. It says Crew 42. You should go subscribe because we're very, very close to our first 10K. I think we're just short by a couple hundred, and we should hit that this year. And I'm very excited. So I'm trying to push that.
Subscribe.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, one closer. That's one at a time.
Cool. As we're wrapping this up, got any questions for me?
I don't, but can I show you something?
Yeah.
All right, I got two things I want to show you. I don't ever get to show these off because no one knows they exist. So in the very early conception of our channel, which is something we stopped doing, but we might bring back this year, we used to buy discs either that were popular at the time or of the tournament and have the card that we're filming sign it.
Ooh.
And so I have here, I'm going to get roasted for this, a 4-claw zone. That is signed by the first 4 people we ever filmed in a pro field. So Evan Wanamaker, George Bino, Andrew Marweed, and John Perry were the first 4 people we ever filmed on a pro card at that Kalamazoo Championship. And I'll never forget filming that card, but just that's a cool disc. The fact that it's on a 4-claw makes me a little sad because it's a 4-claw. And then this bad boy, Tristan Tanner aced hole 5, CCR Open round 2. It's a little short-lived forehand dinker hole. He aced it. It was the first ace we ever filmed. It was, wow. Yeah. And for years, we were the Jeremy Colling of film companies. We wouldn't film it. We were always the card right behind it. Like we'd hear them scream and cheer, woo, ace! And we're like, I didn't turn it over in time. I think at one point we filmed a tournament where we filmed someone acing a hole on a hole behind the card we were filming. So like Marweed, I think, is putting or something like that. And then you see this disc trickle in and you see Carl Bowman out at GLD. He's freaking out because his card mate just ace. And we're like, we filmed an ace. Like we were desperate. We were desperate for an ace. And so Tristan finally hit it. And I think one of the special moments that for me is because Willie Prince was on the card. I love me some Willie Prince. And Willie Prince knew the moment. You can hear him in the audio. Tristan hits the ace. You can hear high fives and you can hear Willie go, that's the first one. He knew it was our first ace to be filmed. Like we weren't advertising that, right? And he's like, that's the first one. And he's like trying to hug me. And I'm like, I'm trying to film Tristan. Leave me alone. Like, so like he knew the moment, but so he aced it. And I asked him, I said, hey man, how much do you love that harp? Because it's a harp. And he goes, it's my go-to bag. I'll never get rid of it. And I'm like, darn, if you ever choose to get rid of it, let me know. He says, no, not in a million years. He changed companies either last year or year before. And I very sarcastically was like, hey, congratulations. Like that wasn't sarcastic. That was real. Congratulations on the new contract. Hey, you remember that harp you aced with at CCR? He goes, absolutely, I do. I said, how much would it take for you to let me buy that for you? Because it's the first ace we ever filmed on the channel. And he's like, you can have it. He's just like,
that's so cool.
You can have it. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's amazing. And he didn't say anything to me and he signed it. So he gave us his Tristan Tanner signature on it. And, 2 weeks later, it came in the mail. And so I just have these, 2 cherished discs I will never let go of. They're going to stay in my room and my little display port for forever. But I never get to show them off because they're always at home. And so this is a good chance to do that, I guess, where those are probably not monetarily. Those are my biggest, most cherished possessions in the sport. Just like that first memory of filming. I mean, I have a bunch of other ones too. I have The first card we ever filmed, that first AM1 card we filmed, picture Frank Smith was on that card. I have that disc sitting on the rack as well, and some other ones, but like those two right there, we wouldn't be where we are today without Andrew Marr. We'd kind of, yo, like, you gonna come? And I was like, no,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna come, right? And so that just those moments are so big. The only one that I really want to add to the collection now is Lance Brown's roller ace. Whenever he decides to get rid of that disc, it better be to me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. That's so cool. So last question I got for you. Where can people find you to follow you? And more importantly, your Crew 42.
Absolutely. I'm everywhere just to annoy you. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. Those are the big ones if you're looking for social media for Crew 42 and for my own personal channel called Zac O Disc, where I make a bunch of funny, quirky videos, and it's me. And then you can find us on YouTube. That's the main channel for Crew 42. You should definitely go out and support that one. If you had to pick between the two, but you should do both. It's free, right? If you know it's free, you might as well get us to that 10K. I'd love you forever. Please do.
Cool. Thanks for coming on tonight, man.
Yeah.